Okay. To the next. Play the music that sort of encapsulated this whole entire campaign next. So I wanted to take a step back away from the good narrative, I guess. Try to figure a more evil one. And I thought what better since I've been kind of dabbling with the undead in a way, more recent in this time, and I figured I didn't really want to do anything with the complexity of that abyss creature kind of thing. So I decided to entail a necromancer and picked up one player to do this. And so they just how did we start this? So it's Dragonborn, yeah. And so we're on the we're still in that Barthomia place from the last one. It's just this is a southern section because it kind of cuts off in like a. I mean, it's kind of like a leaning crescent line that sort of cuts the land in two, and then there's another one that goes to the middle. So there's kind of a four section area, and well, this is the bottom right side of that, which is a heavily swampy area, but there's a lot of like unearthed riches and resources stuff to like go for. I don't know what exactly as a DM, but I just knew that from a broad spectrum thing. That's why they made this thing called a swamp side. It was more entailed towards where they put their prisoners, and they would have those prisoners go out and work. Like, these are dangerous fucking places. The swamp in this area is like putrid. There's toxic gases and untold monsters. They can't really like pitter patter between it. I mean, there's guards and stuff, and they try to defend to the best of their ability to extract this resource in a sense. They also have the doors from their uh, upper left area that was the last campaign. They're down here in the more southern area, and they have their own established. It's more dwarf ran than anything, but uh, they decided to take the deserty kind of area because it goes from swamp into the desert wastelands, and yeah, that's where they're at. As you can see, as I scroll a little bit there, we got Baron, and that's swamp side. So necromancer, they weren't really full. Like they're summoning stuff out at the beginning. I decided to give it a more apprenticeship sort of learned thing. So, being in Dragonborn society, I didn't really understand how to really build that up. So, I thought that since they were a proud race, so they would have faction entailments in their association with their certain dragon. So, like, I don't know, dragons. The red one I would assume is more like the demonic side. Like, oh, I want to be tough, strongest one, like a barbarian in a way. And it's kind of the culture, and it's like, hey, we're gonna fuck each other up to see who's the ruler. And then you got the black ones, which are more like a military dictatorship, I want to say. Yeah, I don't know. It just I couldn't really figure it out too well, but that was sort of my early concept of these Dragonborn, and this being the black dragon race, they were the ones sort of in control of this, and they enlisted the white Dragonborn, which I created more to be a bit of a like savagery in a way. Like they just loved battle, and they were kind of like the mercenaries of the Dragonborn. So they don't care morality wise who to work for. They just wanted blood. I mean, they kind of were like vampires in a way, but it was just the gruesome setup that I had pointed out early on when the character would leave their like confines of their tent or abode, and being that their parents obviously own this town, uh, the yeah, the white dragonborn there would be like stripping flesh, fucking eating shit raw in front of you. It's just no civilized manner, really. And they'd have like very sharp, pointy teeth, kind of looking. I don't know. It's just kind of scary how I described it. I can't really do it on the fly here, but so I think an early concept that they learned the dark arts from a wandering traveler, which I point didn't really point out to the character because I mean they never asked. But the dark arts teacher that showed the necromancer it was also the same dude that I mentioned in the previous ones, where he talked to the old man, got them killed with I think he set up with a shiny rock, and then getting them out there. Then, um, where else was he? I forget. Either case, I think I mentioned him twice before. But now he's back again, teaches this black dragonborn the dark arts to sort of get into necromancy. And so, gives them a book to learn from, obviously. And then leaves. It's just like a wandering, hooded wanderer, whatever. So, this dragonborn goes talks with their family again. Oh, wait. No, they talked before, so they were talking before about the setup. God damn, I'm jumbled up here. Okay, so after learning the dark arts, this dragonborn would go meet with their parents and discuss what the hell is happening, because I think that I had them issued to come visit because they were requested an audience. And so I believe they said that they were going to go to war with the other dragonborn tribe congregation over there. I'm not really sure who really ran that, just that it was a mixed bag. And then I think they were the good dragonborn, to be honest. And so they're gonna issue war and to be ready to go. So they're like, ah, da, da, da. Then this black dragonborn necromancer would go out, and they would have this sort of servant. I think it was a kobold. It's a very decrepit looking kobold. I don't know. I had a voice for it and everything. It's like, oh, I think that was it. Something like that. Kind of just carry shit for them. Just as comic relief, I guess. Because it gets very serious and grotesque, and you kind of need that bounce away from it. So they would go perform rituals, which they tried, I believe. Did they successfully summon? I don't think they successfully summoned. No. It was a failure. So they were failed, took the night, came back. The player just decides to forget that they were going to go fight the tribe out there. And they're all gone, aside from what remained of the white dragonborn that didn't do shit. They just plucked away savagely at whatever game that they picked up and ate. Otherwise, most of the black dragonborn were just gone. I think all of them did. Because I think they're more tribalistic, because the way they set up their structures are more hide, I guess. They just come and go. I don't think they have a solid foundation yet. And then they're just like, oh, well, I guess I'll just go out and do that. So they try the ritual again before they leave. They succeed. They summon a skeleton. Boom. And then they go out towards that Dragonborn tribe. And so they come to and they find that there is none of their tribe there. It does look like there was battle, but they go in and I think they had, I don't remember how many undead. I think they only had a limit of like 2, if I recall. So I think, and then the kobold, but the kobold was very weak. So they fought along with the 2 skeletons, and then the necromancer. So it was all 4 of them would go in after whatever remained, and they're pretty weakened and wounded. And I want to say this was the leader here, but I was unsure. I think it might have been a blue dragonborn, but I think that might have actually been a kobold. I don't know, because I transferred this into another campaign, which was like kind of a one-shot. Nothing got picked up from it. I'm not even gonna bother mentioning it. So they did the fight. I mean, they lost skeletons. They're pretty wounded. The kobold lived, and they found that when they were fighting, there were humans there as well working with these Dragonborn, which did not go over well with that black Dragonborn because they absolutely hate the good races, I guess you want to say. Or good aligned. More prone to good alignment. Even if they are cultists or whatever evil humans, they just despise elves, dwarves, that kind of stuff. And so the question remained that if there were humans there, Dragonborn tribes are all broken apart, 'cause that was the only formed together one outside of their own. And they figured, well, the humans must know something, or maybe they captured them. They don't know. So they decide, after killing this guy, to go. How the fuck do I delete? There we go. So they go south, found a like graveyard pit, and I mean at this point in time, through all the random encounters and stuff, they could get like level 3 or something, and they summoned up a little more deadlier skeleton, I want to say, and so I think they had like 3 or so skeletons now. And so they got to this chapel that was built, and guarding it were these knights. This necromancer comes in and just brutalizes it. I mean, it was a bloodbath. Just going through it, not only killing the knights that guarded this chapel, which was consecrated grounds. I mean, you could see the greenery and stuff kind of growing out of this shit swamp. And I mean, it kind of put the parallel of maybe this swamp is cursed in a way, so there's probably a way of saving it if, you know, someone is to choose to. So yeah, I kind of reused an asset from the other chapel from the previous campaign, but yeah, went in there, killed the knights that guarded it, and then just killed all the prisoners, and I think there were a couple clerics, and they decided for some reason to disturb the thing that paladin did last, and fucked with the uh what is it? It's like this freaking shrine thing. God damn, I can't even remember what the hell it's called. It was like the Order of Gods on this like gold chalice or something. Like I don't know, like the whatever. So either way, they disturbed it, and the fucking light elemental showed up, and big battle ensued. I think there were only 2 left. 2 light elementals, I think. Because there's a total of 4 that spawn out of that thing. And well, it, yeah, does the same thing basically to that paladin last. And then that dragonborn was sent to the, celestial prison with that one paladin. And so, this sort of pushed a narrative of the swamp into my mind. So I had an early rendition of there being a black dragon, like all the colors, I think, like red, black, green, blue, and then they would have their certain areas. I don't think I got into any of the other kind of meshy blend colors. You know, like there's a gold, silver, cobalt. I think I'm missing one, but yeah, and they would be in areas that I think were, and then the swamp would have been one where the black dragon would be, but it wasn't this particular swamp that I thought it was supposed to be in. It was more, I thought, toward would be to that first campaign swamp, because I kind of transcribed a character that would be sort of like something if I'd have players would actually like learn backstory of some of these characters, would end up helping this guy that got cursed by the black dragon, to where like this guy just can't die in a way because he's forever cursed. Like it's kind of undeath in a way, but just as mockery. Because the dude lives in so much pain at the moment of like how he was like completely mutilated and whatever, and so he constantly feels the pain every day, and he can't kill himself, so he's like living that torment of just non-stop pain, and nothing alleviates the pain. Which I never got to explore because, you know, yeah, whatever. So I just made him a silent character in the background. Otherwise, I think I set up one of the princes to be here. So I think there was one in Swampside. He was kind of like a party, happy-go-lucky guy. Drank a lot. Is in brothels usually a lot, slinging with women and gambling. Then there was the other one, which I think was in that, not previous campaign, the one before it. I think he was doing a expedition into the swamp, I want to say. But I never got far enough to really figure that out. And the princess would have met up with that caravan at some point and learned of knowledge and stuff to go find the better half brother. Not the sleazebag that's in Swampside, but the other one that's out actually trying to do something good in the world. And then, I don't know, I think it turns in that she might backstab them at some point, I thought, just to get the throne for herself, as long as she eliminates all her brothers in a secretly fashion. And so that kind of wraps up this one, I believe. I think that was all the Headcliff notes that I kind of figured out through this. I mean, in between making the next campaign, I would kind of dabble into that prison of where, like, this necromancer and that paladin would be. And then I kind of, like, ping-ponged ideas of the past, and maybe there are other, like, beings that are locked in this place, too. But I never really got a, like, grand scale of it. I kept it grounded, like a regular prison for mortals. That's pretty dumb when I think of it in hindsight. Yeah. Just gotta double check. This was very short, and I didn't really have to do a whole lot of tonal change, and it's pretty much just this background noise that I use most of the time for the campaign. I think this one lasted maybe three sessions, I think. Yeah. Then I'm not sure what happened after this. I want to say I think I was developing sort of a kingdom that would be towards the west of this one. So it would showcase the ocean side. But they had an issue. I never ran this campaign, but it would entail, like, the beginning structure of it, which would be the abyss creatures, of them, like, march forwarding their entire army into dealing with the, like, a formed, like, I don't say battalion, but it's like an army of them in a way that's been, like, creeping up the, like, southern side of their kingdom. And so they go in to the, like, this, it's a valley kind of, in a way. It's like, I wouldn't say mountainsides, but there's, like, cliff faces kind of sectioning it off to kind of make it sort of a, like, valley for the things to have to march up towards. I mean, there was other ways of them getting up too, so it wasn't just that one way. But they would go in and battle, and they had this old guy there, which was a prominent general at the time. I would have had him set up for a flank attack, and I'd have the players go like signal towards that guy to kind of get a flank attack in, as well as another general, which would be on the other side for the pincer move, basically. And so, I mean, obviously they would have succeeded, but it would have been a struggle. And then the one side would, but the old dude decides, nope. Because he would be witnessing this grotesque, like, abomination shit, and dude would get scared. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna die. And be brutally murdered with the rest of these idiots. Plus, I think it was more of a power play move for him, because I think he wanted to get the royal family kind of killed off in a way, because they were there, aside from a couple of them back in their main capital, which I think there was like a couple kids. And then I think he would have just killed them, honestly. I didn't figure any more else out aside from that with that kingdom. But it was always a really cool concept I had in mind for everything to kind of go to shit. And then I guess that would have been the time to unveil the, like, crazy wacky do shit that the abyss creatures would end up doing. Well, I think that eventually they do encounter. I don't know. Did I throw them at them? I think I always alluded to these creatures, but I don't think I've ever really tossed them out at the any of my players. No, I don't think I did. Because the next one, which would be the Arctic Deathlands, I think, and then the one after that, I think, went to Light's Hope. And then the one after that was the Aurelian Empire. And then the one after that was the last campaign I think I did. And I only mentioned in passing, I think. So I think it's safe to say this is where I can kind of tell a little bit about them. So, um, there were these like creatures that stealth, like they had a cloaking capability. I like cast at will invisibility, and they had spider climb. So these things would be latched onto ceilings or crawling on walls and shit. And they had these large like hook bone scythe shits, and then like in the like vein of that arm would shoot out a like teeth fucking crazy thing that would latch onto somebody's skull and then they'd suck their brain out kind of thing. I mean, it was very fucking grotesquely visual and crazy. I mean, they also had it with their mouth as well, and they were sort of like a very thin structured creature with a broad shoulder, um, very bony. So that's kind of how it was armory in a way for to cut at its vitals. Um, yeah, no, that thing was very deadly because it pretty much have surprise attacks on people just walking through a freaking door. Um, that was an insane one I made. And then there was like a base creature, which I think was sort of a mixed bag with that worm thing I mentioned earlier. But it would like mutate the corpses, like in some Dead Space fashion. I thought like they were pretty weak, but they were very fast. So there'd be like they'd come up to you, and there'd be like three of them on you, and they're moving at like 40 feet. Um, yeah, they just had basic claw attacks. Didn't do a whole lot of damage. It's just the grotesqueness of them. I didn't really put an infection meter on them. I just left that with the zombies. So if the worm was in control of zombie feature, it would infect other people. But when it comes up as that, it doesn't. Because I thought that was way too broken. Like, everybody's going to be infected then. So then the next creature I believe I made, which would be, I think I called it an abomination. So this was a very like I want to say tanky. Well, yeah, tanky. It had a lot of health, like 100 some health. Low AC though. It kind of reminds me of more of like a giant, I guess. Low AC, high health. Kind of hits like a truck, but only hits once. And then when it dies, it blows up, and like the shrapnel of the bone in it would just shoot out and hit piercing damage within like I don't remember how much radius, 20 feet radius maybe from its corpse, maybe 30. But yeah, those things were pretty freaking deadly. And I want to say there was more, but I can't recall for the life of me. I'm not. I don't think we do. Oh, I think I did a one that was like a. So it was a semi-flesh dragon, but it was putrid in a way. I wouldn't say it's like bone dragon kind of shit, but it still maintained parts of its flesh as if it was kind of melting off, and then it'd be like this purple, like a dark purple kind of like, I don't know, fiery aura kind of surrounding it, and it like people around it would suffer this purple fiery damage, which I kind of placed more in necrotic damage, I think. So ending your turn near this thing, you'd hurt for it, and then, yeah, it'd have a breath attack with that. Which I think I made that breath attack on this thing true damage. Yeah. I mean, that was up for work if it was too overpowered, but I think the breath attack was true damage. Otherwise, that's kind of it. It's just a juiced up bone dragon, basically. That was another creature from it. And then I think there was a quite the deadly creature, but that was for a campaign that I never even got to do, which, I mean, it's kind of like a demigod in a way. But I mean, I would have. I never got to really play with any of these things with any of the players, so I never got to really like figure more stuff out with it. But that was just the basic shit I could come up with. And then once I did get to explore like what worked and what didn't, then I would have added or subtracted more stuff, and then I would have blended like I think I set up an abyssal basilisk before. I had that as a base, but I never added nothing to it. But I knew it was like creatures would be affected by it. Like there'd be one for a wolf, there'd be one for a spider, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Well, that would just be a little extra added bonus content, I guess. That's just great. I had to extend this a little bit out further because this was a very short campaign I held with one of the players. And I'm just going this campaign by campaign and what I was working on in kind of in between, just for my own references. But yeah, when I get into the next campaign, I want to say that's... God, I don't know if I want to put the extra, like, content stuff. Or maybe I'll just split it off. I'll do the next campaign and then what I was doing in between. And then the campaign after that. Because there was a lot of stuff I did in between this next campaign and the one after. And I think that I will just make a video in itself for that. So, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in for this rendition of storytelling, I guess, and my working DM brain. Still working progress. Thank y'all, and see you in the next one.